Fortnite's new season is here, and it is very different to what anyone was expecting. As you can see, I have played quite a bit already, and it is weird. The new locker is terrible, I hate it, I despise it with every fibre of my being. The new map is cool, and the game looks incredible, even on performance mode, which is what I'm on now. However, there is the elephant in the room, and that is the terrible movement that has been implemented into this game. As you're going to go on to see in the game that I play, the new movement's terrible, and I hate it as well. That being said, welcome to the new season. Here we are, Chapter 5. As I mentioned in the intro, I have played quite a bit already, and I have to say, it's not as bad as I was expecting. I haven't seen anything to do with the Lego yet, which was obviously a key thing in the trailer. But yeah, so far, the game is pretty good. Like, obviously there's things that I despise about it, which we'll get onto, because as I was playing the games earlier, I did write some notes about... Oh, hello. I did write some notes about my thoughts whilst playing all the other games. Oh, you... Get out my game. Get mechanically outplayed. That wasn't mechanically outplayed. Yeah, I was writing down earlier my thoughts on the new season, and we'll be covering them a little bit later on in the game. Yeah, the covert op striker AR. The thing is a laser. You can take someone from 200 to 0 in about 10 seconds. The thing is genuinely nasty. And this through is probably going to be like the god tier movement for a long time. It gives you like 2 to 3 bounces per jump with it, which is obviously very strong. So let's just start with the obvious change, which is the movement. The first game that I played, I was with my duo, and I said, is your sprint by default turned off? Because, well, that's what I thought had happened. But this is just a new running speed, and I personally really dislike it because building with it just feels wrong. Well, let's try and crank a 90. As you can see, it is doable, but it feels so wrong. Like, you're so slow. Now, obviously, we will get used to it if we have to, but I can't see the Fortnite community being too happy about that change. They've also added hurdling, which allows you to jump gaps like this, and I'm mainly covering this because, like, the M&M event, for example, that was a 2-hour waiting time for me, and I couldn't load into that. And I know there'll be people that just can't queue into a game in time, so I'm covering like 90% of the new stuff added, mainly for the people that won't have had a chance to play yet. So there's hurdling, there's the new movement speeds. Whilst we're covering them, I guess we should cover the crouching. Really not a fan. And then probably the biggest change is the train that you'll see on the map there. So the train just goes around the map. It's got chests on it that respawn. And you can catch a lift on it, but it's sweat central. Like, there's a ridiculous amount of people that land there, given the size of the POI. So next change that you'll have noticed, or you should have noticed, is how good the game looks. And I believe that is due to the move to Unreal Engine 5.3. Like, this is performance mode, and the game still looks really good. Like, even the glow from the chests. And then here we have it. This is probably the most anticipated item, and probably the one that I feel the most disappointed with. The ballistic shield, it's just really kind of annoying. You can run with it, you bash into things, 150 damage, so it should go straight through a fully built wooden wall. Yep. Yeah, you get the shield and you get a pistol, you can kind of hide behind it. I am personally not a fan of the item, but to each their own. And you know what, whilst we're here, we'll have a look at the weapon attachments. If you look here, laser underbarrel increases hip fire accuracy. So essentially, every weapon rarity, so grey has none, and then everyone up from there will have a form of weapon attachment. And what you'll notice is that the higher up you go, so like here, gold striker, the striker is probably the most overpowered AR they've ever added to the game, by the way. As you'll notice, there we go. Speed mag increases reload speed. underbarrel improves ADS recoil and spread, and then the muzzle brake barrel, which reduces recoil. So this thing is an absolute laser. It does a ton of damage, and yeah, as I've mentioned, probably one of the strongest ARs. And you know what? Whilst we're here in a safe-ish spot talking, let's go over Spectres Notes on the new season. That's what we're calling it, because I can't think of another name. So 3 games in, I took a pause, which kind of annoyed my duo, and wrote, first of all, the weapon mods are so sick. Like, I really love the weapon mods. They're genuinely such a cool addition, and whilst it does feel a little Call of Duty-esque, they're still really good, really solid. One of my favourite things they've added in a long time. As I mentioned prior in the intro, I am not a fan of this new movement. Like, it's so slow paced, and whilst that will allow you to do things like getting 20 bombs again, the movement is just so slow. Like, this running to zone is going to be horrific, and then building in itself feels weird. Like, build fighting feels so strange. As I said, this thing's a laser. But now we've like got to get over to this guy, and the builds are just so slow. It's like, oh, get ramped on. Cracked. What it does allow you to do is run edit courses on people. Yeah, you know what? Beautiful. There we go. Oh yeah, whilst we're on it, the new Reaper sniper is beautiful. Absolutely love the gun. So yeah, even that's probably the best time I could have had that, because that's a really good example. That build fight was so awkward and just so weird because of how slow the new walking movement is. And whilst it does allow you to do, you know, like quad edits like really easily now because of how slow you walk, it kind of takes away from it, and I really dislike it. Yeah, we're going to leave that fight whilst we cover, what was it, Spectres thoughts on the new season? I don't know. So then 8 games in, I actually took back that statement somewhat, and I kind of stand by it. The new movement speed isn't horrific, and it is something that won't be too hard to get used to, but it isn't great. But the thing that I do think and stand by is that the new movement speeds were clearly made with zero build in mind, and I just really dislike that, because even if you look at the game's statistics, there's always more people playing Battle Royale with builds than there are playing zero builds, and that's always been the case. And in fact, the game itself is known for its unique factor, which was the builds mechanic, which they've kind of tarnished by what feels like focusing it around the zero build game mode. But the other thing that I decided was that on the whole the game feels pretty good, which I do still stand by. That the movement does feel wrong, but you know, hopefully it should change after this season, or if worst comes to worst, we'll just have to get used to it. And of course, the fact that this game looks incredible with the new Unreal Engine. Anyway, that was my thoughts going through the games, and I stand by most of them. Like, the game does feel good. I am excited to see how the season progresses, and whilst, you know, I don't like everything that they have added, definitely could have been worse. Don't you dare take my loot supply. The other thing that I noted was that the you alright, Sweat Smiggy? Yeah, you know what? The real sweaty shady. So yeah, that's the new season. I do really think that it has a lot of potential. I really despise the new movement with every fibre of my being, but I think I will get used to it. The thing I will never forgive them for is this hideous locker, but hopefully they will change that back very soon. Now, I haven't covered everything in this video because this video was not supposed to be a gameplay video. It was more a update video, you know, what's happening, what's going on, how is the new season, and as the title questioned, will Fortnite's new season kill the game? Or something along those lines. I've not fully decided what I'm going to call this yet. And the answer to that is, well, no. Overall, I think the season's pretty solid. Definitely catered more towards the zero build players, but there's still stuff in there for Battle Royale players as well. The last thing we're going to do today is head over to the shop and get ourselves a new skin. I don't know why, but I really quite like this skin, and I have the V-Bucks for one. So yeah. And I have the excuse me. That level up must not counted, which means that I'm going to have to go back in for another couple of games. But I just want to know that the outro's done. So yeah, next video will probably be a Battle Pass review, like coverage of the whole Battle Pass. And that will probably be either late today or tomorrow that that's uploaded, if I do decide to do that. And then we'll have the gameplay video, where I will probably be rocking this, unless in the next like 2 seconds I decide against buying it. Oh wait, oh you can get two, sweet. Victory Royale #1.